There we go. God, that was frustrating. Try sharing this out again. I have no idea what was causing it. I had selected what I thought was the uh, correct microphone, but apparently it wasn't. Things will just work for me. All right. Well, I could have swore I had selected the right one, but I either had it in the wrong USB port or something. It wasn't wanting to recognize it. So, yes, I got a Bulldog from Amazon. I'm kind of excited about it. My sister gave me a Amazon gift card for Christmas, and I was like, well, what do I want to do? What do I want to do with it? And just happened to look, and the Bulldog was available for pre-order, and it said that I would have it on January 4th. Here it is, the 2nd, and it came today. So I am very, very happy. I'm going to open it up. Going to give it a couple of test shots, and maybe open it on up and see what the innards look like on it. I really wish that I had a decent 2-camera setup for this, so that I could do a better job of showing things off. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Got the Bulldog in the hands of a civilian, a couple of days-ish early. Yeah, it's always great when Amazon beats their expected delivery days. I just realized in my rush to try to get things going, I forgot to get my little bag of extra ammunition. That's pretty good. Got the handle there, flip it down, and it locks into place. Locks pretty solid. And then you hit the button on the side, folds right up. From the looks of it, it's got a pretty decent sized plunger tube. Yeah, you need to be careful with that wolf pack. That's you'd think, though, that those batteries, if they took the same plug, that it'd charge at the same rate. But yeah, this is sort of a mega deploy, or a mega purse blaster. That is a little cramped like that. Sounds like it's got a little bit of pop. let's get into our darts here and see what it can do. I don't have my chrono with me. I need to get a little bit better set up about chrono and things. I've got one of the light kits, but I don't think that it necessarily does justice on the inside. Whoo! Yeah. I'm impressed. It's got a bit of a pop to it. Let's go into the top barrel here and give it the old wall calm. I like it. This thing's going to have some potential, I can tell. It's not exactly the best. I've got long arms, but I've got relatively small hands for a big guy. But it is a little cramped when folding up like that. Now, when I'm stretching out with it, it don't seem too bad, but up close, it seems a little bit cramped. I hope he appreciates it that much. It's a little cramped like this, but not any worse than, say, like a Retaliator stock. Yeah, that's going to be one issue there with your priming rod sticking up like that over the stock. You're going to, yeah, that's going to drag on your cheek if you're not careful. Yeah, that's you've got a very good point there, Wolfpack. They do need to use some different connections, or have something different on that. Yeah, Luke, there's not a whole lot of room for shoulder, and of course I'm somewhere between 6 foot and 6'3", depending on what convenience store I'm running out of there, to borrow a phrase from Ron White. I've got really long arms, but I mean, it's not really meant for somebody like me to work with. Yeah, a 3D printed extender. All right, they advertise that you pull this down to extend everything, but you could. It works still. You could do a 3D printed extender, or you could potentially maybe come up with something from another blaster, use some parts from another blaster to do that. You've got the main body of the blaster. You've got a little bit of a dovetail that comes out. I mean, it's to right here is that dovetail on this. So that's something to take note of. So you've got a lot of dovetail there. So you've got a spot for you to, if you were putting, hey, broke, and that's Luke. I don't know if I said hello to you earlier, but hello as well. If you were going to do a stock extender, you've got this much of relatively solid body to attach to on there. So you've got some potential there. If you're going to do some extension, you've got some stuff to solidify it to. Oh, and I just noticed this. You've got little arrows on the blaster on both sides. Of course, it's only painted on one side, of course, but this is going to be the spot to put the dart holder on there, and then it's got a spot here for the sight. And as you can see, the piece for the sight moves as you deploy it. It's a nice looking blaster. I mean, really and truly for what it is. I mean, if they'd have just put some white on the lettering for Mega on this side, I'd say it looked pretty dadgum good. It is in the AccuStrike series, and it does come with their new Mega AccuStrikes. I don't know how I feel about the Rival Edge blasters. They look kind of neat, but I don't really know how I feel about them. Everybody's going, "Oh, it's a Rival sniper. Oh, lordy!" But a lot of people don't realize, and especially the younger nerfers tend to think that Rival is the be-all, end-all when it comes to nerf. And it's not necessarily. A lot of your more serious nerfers, if they're wanting to do long distance, they're going to be shooting half darts. If they're going to be serious about things, it's going to be half darts. I mean, you can even use AccuStrike or AccuFakes or waffle tips or Z tips or Z tips as they call them overseas, and get some pretty dang good performance out of long distance stuff. Rival does pretty good for being unmodded, but it's Rival is HVZ to me. I know a lot of places that do HVZ may frown upon it, but HVZ is up close typically, and it's fast paced and things like that. So Rival does really good for HVZ, in my opinion. I like Rival. I ran an Artemis at End War. But if you're wanting to do long distance stuff, you're better off with regular darts or half darts. Rival has decent power unmodded. So, if you've got a place that goes, "Oh, you can't use modded blasters," we'll see a Wolfpack. If you're in a place that makes you not use you can't use modified blasters, then Rival's a good option there, because you do get some power and some distance out of an unmodded blaster. Although you could turn around and run something from Dart Zone and get some pretty high FPS and pretty high performance out of something unmodded, and you're using regular darts at that. So, I like Rival. The Rival Edge stuff does look interesting to me, but I'm not horribly excited about it. All right. I want to apologize, guys. At some point, I hope to get maybe a 2-camera setup going so that I can do something a little bit different for you guys and have a better view, have one view pretty much right there with what we're working on, and then another facing me. But I'll see what I can do with what we've got here. Yeah, I'm in my classroom at school, broke. That's about the only place that I can guarantee quiet and good lighting. I don't have any children's at home, but I've got 2 dogs and 2 cats and a wife. So I know there's a screw in there. Yeah, I apologize for the crappy view here. Okay, there's going to be a screw piece, kind of like what's on the slide of a Retaliator or Recon in here, that holds that sliding piece in as you go back and forth there. All right. There's not any hidden screws, it seems. Well, depending on how you go, because this this handle can cover a screw port right there if you're not careful. Well, man, that screw's in there. And drop the screw. I will come back to that screw. Okay, I do see a hidden screw under that pistol grip or front grip. Let's see if it'll come loose with just this one screw out of it. Nope. I have to take it. Man. I usually try to take screws out manually the first time. It's best to, anyway. It helps prevent from stripping as much. I know Broke is a fan of stripping, especially when it's clowny. But stripped screws aren't good. There we go. And that pistol grip comes apart there. One thing I noted on this, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the little pattern on the hand grip looks like M's. I don't know if Nerf did that on purpose or not. M for Mega there. We'll see you, Pizza. Yeah, I didn't figure this would be a very good time for streaming, but I figured this would be the quickest way for me to get a video out about the Bulldog. I was looking at it as I was taking the screws out, broke, and I saw that looks like the letter M. Sesame Street been a hold of this? Now, right here where the sight attaches, you got a spring in there and stuff. I bet that's going to be a foil for me in getting this thing back together. Hey, it's Walcom. Sup? Got my war shirt on. I thought about wearing my tag back shirt in all seriousness. I actually picked it up and I go, nah, I'm going to wear my Silver Fox shirt tonight. You should, well, I'm in the process of taking this thing apart right now, Walcom, but let me see. Let me grab a dart out of the floor here. Listen to this. That's got some pop to it. This has some potential. Looks like it's got a good sized plunger tube in there. Because you can just almost see the plunger tube. Let me see if I can get that at a better angle. Through the slots where the dart holder mounts. And it looks like it's decent sized. Okay. Come on. The transformation's pretty cool, Walcom. And I did find out that you don't have to do it with the pistol grip or the front grip piece. You can pull back on the stock and it'll deploy. Okay, there's one screw. Man alive. You've got to take the stock apart, and there's one screw. Well, this screwdriver is not necessarily bad. It's kind of a small precision screwdriver. It's what I do a lot of my Nerf work with. Let's see. Nope, that won't come apart now. So the handle is not a completely separate piece. It's at least fastened on the inside. And this thing has almost a long shot number of screws in it. Not really, but It's got more than what a small blaster has a right to have. Yeah, it's kind of funny. You mentioned that Wacom. I was looking at, I know Luke, or Out of Darts, I should say. I don't know that I know him well enough to call him Luke. Had suggested in one of his last videos some diamond tipped screwdrivers. He said they were excellent for taking screws out of stuff. I was like, well, it's good enough for Out of Darts. Okay, there we go. And we're in. Holy moly. Mother Mary. Let me... My God. Look at that. That is a big plunger tube. And it's fastened on the end. It's got little tabs there. Well, I don't have big hands, Wacom. I've got long arms. I'm 350, 400 pounds. I'm over 6 foot tall, but I've got short, stubby little fingers. But let me... There's a Mega Dart. There's a water bottle. It's got a decent pull. I think you mean proctologist broke. If your psychologist has big hands and you've got a problem with it, there might be some issues. Yeah, I am very, very happy with the plunger tube on this. This is long shot plunger tube. Oh, mama. Oh, boy. Look at there, look at there. That is odd as hell. Wacom, are you seeing this? Do you see how that chamber is there? What the F, Hasbro? What in the world? As CJ Nerf would say, come on, man! And that's pretty well... I think that's solvent welded on there. But here is where that piece goes into. And then it enters into your Smart AR here. So it's got some pop to it. Like that. There's where it goes into your Smart AR. I don't know what this piece over here is. Looking here. It's not going to be a real easy spring change. Yeah, it's Fire Strike. It's straight pull back. But I mean, I don't know if you can tell much there. I don't see necessarily little plastic grabby pieces anywhere. It's like it's just crammed on there. Man, get some pretty serious compression there. This thing's relatively simple. Well, for the deploying part. Oh, bother. Yeah, this side is. Yeah, this is going to be a really good direct plunger style of blaster. I can't figure out. I mean, why they didn't just go straight through into that Smart AR. They had something good going on there till they did that. Everything else seems relatively simple. And your catch is going to be in this little box here. Let me crack that open and hopefully nothing will fly out at me. Yeah, all three shots that I had out of it popped. Come on. Popped pretty good. Even the bottom one. Of that last barrel. So it's got a pretty good pop to it. I am very tempted to put a Chronos spring in it. Okay. Oh, well, I didn't need to loosen that one, so I'll go ahead and tighten it back down. Come on. So your catch is a couple of pieces here. You've got your spring that'll push up there, and the part that your trigger activates here. So, I tell you, those rail pieces have been the bane of modders since they were invented. But, and you can see that I don't think you'd have to really beef that up too much. And you can get in there too. That's just one screw. I loosened two, and I only had to loosen one. Well, that was brilliant of me. And the accessory tooth back in. I'm not going to upgrade it just yet. I'm going to keep it as is for a little while. Maybe put some new springs in it. But I think it'll take. And I put it on upside down. But I'm pretty sure it'll take K26. And it may even take long shot springs. And it looks pretty good there. But I think it looks like the handle will come out separate in order to paint. I'm pretty sure, well, I know that part is going to come out, but I'm pretty sure with a little bit of work, the black part off the stock will pop out for painting. And I don't think it'll be too bad. I really don't. Here's a look at the internals. Need to watch about where the sight attaches up here. It's got a coil spring. Need to be aware of that. There's a place in the orange plastic part that's got a hole for one end of it to go in, and then the other part there's a little tab it catches on in the red plastic body of the blaster. Your catch is in that box. Take this screw out right here to get into it, and you can improve the spring on it if you need to. I don't think the way that it's made that you'll necessarily have to. And then all these gears and things are the deploy mechanism of it. This gear has a spring at the bottom of it. I think that's to keep it lined up. The top part of the gear will line up with this, and then there's a bottom part that's geared that lines up with this gear here. It's pretty neat blaster, and seems relatively simple overall, and seems like it will take to modding relatively well. There we go. I'll need to remember, tighten this bugger first. There we go. And now I'm alone. I'm so lonely, have nobody to call my own. Overall, this was a pretty successful stream. I've been impressed with the internals of this. I'll probably come back to it here in a week or two and drop some springs in it. Or a spring in it to improve it. I'm thinking I've got a Chronos spring sitting here that will fit rather nicely. Yeah. Now, since I have all my screws started and I've made sure that they're not cross-threaded, I'm going to hit them with my electric screwdriver real quick and finish buttoning it up here. Well, come on now. I need to find me a longer shank one like Wacom's got that'll get on down into the screw holes. This one's kind of limited and it gets hung up sometimes, but it does most of what I need it to do. Let's charge this up a little more. Yep, that's as far as that'll go. Man, nobody's wanting to hang around with me. Hello out there. I'm just buttoning the Bulldog back up here. We've had it open. We've looked at the inside of it. Seems to have a... Ooh, that was a little much. Seems to have a decent sized plunger tube, almost a long shot size plunger tube. It does deploy fairly well, and it looks like one thing I was kind of worried about is I thought when you put the dart holder on there, it might block a screw port, but it don't. So that's going to be nice. And you know, they show the lever is I missed something. Anyway, but you can deploy it from back here. So that's pretty nice. But I've misaligned my sight piece there. So that's not going to pop up when it's supposed to. But this blaster's got a fair amount of pop to it. It looks like it'd be fairly simple to work on. The only deal that I see is the plunger rod is going to be a little bit finicky about getting a spring off and on, because it is somewhat solidly connected to the head of the plunger. So that's going to be a bit of a trick there. I'll go ahead and finish opening the rest of the box here. Do have a little package here that comes with it, and you've got your sort of grenade launcher-esque looking sight that will pop up and down with it as you go. And it's supposed to set up there like that. I need to get that realigned. And then we've got our Mega Dart holder. Just line it up. There's 2 slots and a hole. Line it up. There you go. You can put your Mega Darts. It'll hold 3 extra darts on the side there. So, fairly nice blaster. It's relatively simple. It is a direct prime, pull and fire. It does deploy. A person could take those parts off, I guess, if you wanted to, and just leave it as a direct prime 3-shot Smart AR Mega Blaster. You could do the Elite inserts if you wanted to do that. I know the ones from Worker are sort of made specifically to whatever blaster they go with. So, you might have to, if you want something specific, you'll have to wait for Worker to come out with those. But there are some 3D printed ones out there, I'm pretty sure. I don't know how well they'd go. And I did run across a 3D printed Boomco mega barrel adapter. So I printed one of those off. I'm going to try to give that a chance at some point and kind of see how that works and how well it goes. But this has been a look at the Nerf Mega Bulldog. I recommend it. Of course, I like Mega. I like to play with Mega. I like the deploying gimmick. It's a little bit cramped in the hand area for me. But, if I'm holding it out straight, it's not too bad. It's nowhere near as bad as the little armrest thing that come with the Magnum Super Drum. But it works well. All 3 shots fire pretty reliably. I'll try to get some chrono data on it eventually. Hopefully, what I would like to do is chrono it before I put a new spring in it, see how it does like that, then put a new spring in there and fire it and see how well that goes. I do kind of like the decor. The pistol grip has what looks to be little M's on there. And then I noticed the grip back here has it. And then on the buttstock, it has little M's, and I assume for Mega. So I think that's pretty cool. So, this gets a Homelee you need to buy, especially if you like Mega, or if you like AccuStrike, I guess. But this has been Homelee. Thank y'all for watching the stream, those of y'all that participated. And get out there, buy you a Bulldog, and keep flinging that foam. Peace.